Hi, welcome to the Random Hour. I'm Kyle, and today I'm joined with the Cat's Pajamas cosplay. Would you like to
Yes, I
introduce
am.
yourself?
I'm Cat of Cat's Pajamas.
Alrighty. So we are a nerd pop culture podcast. So what are some things you nerd out about?
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm a little different than some of the other guests you've had. I've watched a lot of your show, and
Hmm.
I feel like I'm a little out of the norm. I primarily nerd out about like dark art, gothic stuff. I'm really into medical literature and collecting old books. I'm really interested in like photography and poetry, and then I stumbled in and found the boys, which is
Yeah,
kind of what I'm known for at this point. And it's like a good blend of all the things evil and dark that I'm
yeah.
into.
I know we had they're Rat Path. They're a queer Midwestern gothic country rock band.
Yes.
They were really cool because I know I study when I was in college, I would study different stuff, and like based on what I was studying, I would do different soundtracks. So one thing that I would pick for like one of my chemistry disciplinaries is it was the dark country and stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. The Southern Gothic aesthetic, just like the idea of dilapidated buildings and like the
Hmm.
slightly damp atmosphere, is something that I find to be extremely poetic and interesting.
Yeah.
That one specifically as well, because there's something about the American Midwest and the American Deep South that's so
Hmm.
rooted in, religious belief, spirituality. So it kind of bridges this gap that I feel like connects us a little bit more to both sides of that spectrum. It's really, really something that's special.
Yeah. Sorry. My cats have decided they wanted to enter. But we are based in Georgia. Have you ever been to Savannah?
I have not. I was supposed to go to Alabama for my
Hmm.
cousin's wedding. She's getting married this weekend that we're recording this. And
Yeah.
I couldn't make it. So I've never been to like the South. I think
Hmm.
the closest I've come is South Carolina, and that was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, we have Savannah, which is like a huge. It's super old, super haunted, kind of like there's ghost tours, all that. We've got I know up towards where I'm at, up towards like Chickamauga, there is a Civil War. We've got Civil War battlefields all over the place, and then some of them are haunted.
Oh,
Yeah, there's old Green Eyes, which is a legend about some creature that you just see like green eyes in the field at night, and soldiers would have seen him. So we've got plenty.
I'll have to go sometime and check it out because that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, I know. I used to work. Me and Devin both used to work security for an old university.
Okay.
It's been around since like the 1800s. I remember we would have like spooky stuff happen. There was a legend of a woman in white, and so this big burly maintenance worker, terrified, refused to leave the building until he demanded he be escorted out by security. So we escorted him out, and he's just shaking like a leaf. And he's like, "There's a ghost in there. I swear, there's a ghost." And then
That's crazy.
yeah, we're like, "Oh, okay." And so the week goes by, and then like all the cleaning people have decided to go on strike because they claim there's a ghost, and they refuse to work until they exorcise the ghost.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm walking through this. We have like a ballroom area across from this chapel because it's a Christian college. And I'm walking through, and I get halfway through, and I just stop, and I'm like, there's like a wispy figure, like about a little bit shorter than me. And so I'm just like, have a good night. And I just
Whoa.
kept walking.
That's so scary.
Oh yeah, we had weird stuff happen all the time. We would
Yeah.
have like I've seen like chairs just like scoot across the hall as I'm just standing there like, well, I'm the one that has to investigate this. Or doors like open and close
Well, that's
often.
creepy.
Yeah.
That's so creepy. So we live where I live is in
Hmm.
an older apartment building. So we're based in Redlands, California,
Yeah.
which is considered to be one of the most haunted cities on the West Coast and
Yeah.
in the country. So never bought too much into that. Everybody used to tell me stories of like there's all this stuff that used to happen at the local park and all this like satanic rituals and worship and
Hmm.
stuff. I never subscribed until we moved into our apartment building, which is one of the older buildings in my city. And we went out one day for lunch. We had like turned off, closed up all the windows. We had lowered the AC and we kind of like powered it off because it was nice and cool in the house. And then we left.
Hmm.
We came back and the air conditioning was turned off and the heater was turned on and it was turned up to 90 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
These are like levers that you have to manually move and
Hmm.
adjust. So I'm like, clearly we have a ghost. And then later in the week, I would come into my kitchen and all my cabinets would be open.
Hmm.
I'd close them. I've got, undiagnosed, but like if I had a self diagnose armchair doctor, I've got ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I know sometimes I leave those puppies open, but all of them, dude, all of
Yeah.
them were open. Chills.
Me and Devin used to be like roommates in college, and so the building that we were staying in, we first roomed together. The main floor was the girls' dorm, or when it was first built, and then the top and bottom floors were originally guy dorms. It was now just a primarily guys' dorm, and then so we there was a bowl that sat out on the windowsill, and we're like, that's weird. And so we noticed that every once in a while the bowl would go from one side of the ledge outside the window to the other. We kept having weird stuff happening, and we thought it was the other one messing with each other.
Right.
Because I came back and a bunch of like my favorite mug was smashed, my whiteboard was taken off the wall, and I'm like, dude, what the heck? And so Devin comes in one day. He's about a foot from the door, and the whiteboard's in the back of the door, and so it popped off, hit him in the back, and we're like, that's weird. We didn't think anything of it, and then at the time, I was planning this huge. My girlfriend at the time, I was playing this huge Harry Potter thing, and so we were training Devin to throw this fake little pigeon through the window,
Uh-huh.
like it was a Hogwarts delivery letter. And so we kept training that. And so we kept opening the window and we kept noticing the bowl was like moved from one spot to the other. It was always spotless. No water in it, no dirt, no dust, nothing. And so eventually the whole Hogwarts letter thing fell through. It was fun. But then we're sitting there studying and I'm talking to him. We're just so tired of the other one messing with each other. And all of a sudden I'm sitting at my desk and it's like in the middle of the room and the whiteboard's like a good 3 feet behind me against my wall because we're like it keeps popping off the door. So it flies off the wall, smacks me over the back of the head, and we're just sitting there staring at each other like. So the library, yep, the library sounds like a great idea. So we left and we just we let it calm down, and we
Yeah,
figured out anytime we opened the window, the paranormal stuff would get super weird. Whatever was up with that bowl did not like being messed with. As long as we left the window alone, the everything would be fine. But yeah.
that is so insane. Just getting like whomped in the back of the
Yeah.
head with a whiteboard. You're like, ghost chill. I'm gonna go to the
Yeah.
library.
Oh yeah, it was so weird and spooky, but we're like, well, we've got a story.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna just hopefully keep that a story and not get possessed at any point. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the ghost in that room was fine. We stayed in another one, and I had sleep paralysis, and I'm like, this is weird. I wasn't asleep, and so I'm just like stuck there, and I'm like, it's whatever. I heard two guys and a girl talking or something in the background, and so I didn't think anything of it. I just thought maybe I'm sleep deprived. And then one of my roommates, was like, "Have any of y'all been getting sleep paralysis and hearing weird voices?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, that's too close for comfort. I didn't like that."
Yeah. I had sleep paralysis for years, like
Hmm.
chronic every night sleep paralysis. And mine always started off auditorily.
Yeah.
So I always hear stuff. It's always like whispers, like
Hmm.
indescript whispers. And then it kind of escalates into these awful visuals, like terrible visuals.
Yeah.
And I had one instance where it was sleep paralysis. And I remember just kind of like laying there in bed and hearing these indescript whispers start to creep up. And when you have it so frequently, you kind of
Hmm.
understand the patterns. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this. And I remember looking over at my dog and then looking over, like, kind of like only eyes because your body's like stiff. You can't move. I remember my eyes kind of went over to my dog and she was perked up looking at the door. I
Hmm.
looked over at the door and there was a man trying to get in. And so honestly, you're like, okay, if this is sleep paralysis and my dog's responding, like maybe this isn't sleep paralysis.
Hmm.
So he's like trying to get open the door and then I like rolled over and I hear this terrible, god awful screaming coming from outside. And it's this woman who says that she's being mauled by a dog and
Yeah.
like getting torn up and stuff. And so I've never flown out. I don't know what I did. I override something in my brain. And I
Yeah.
got up and I went running out my back door like a crazy lady. I'm in my pajamas. I'm like hanging over my fence, like looking for this woman because it sounded like she was right out the door and this guy had gone missing. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm out there and of course there's no woman, there's no dog. It's just a bad instance of sleep paralysis. There's no man in my
Yeah.
backyard. It was freaky.
Yeah. I've had, oh my gosh. We used to live in a house. We were renting. It's in the middle of like, it's a rural area. It's country. There's not much there.
Oh yeah.
And so we moved in. It's the first night alone. It's me and my dog. My dog's like barking like she sees something, and I'm like, "There's nothing there. There's a bush. I don't remember that bush being there." So I go inside. I get my bow and arrow, and I'm like, "It's probably just a bush or something in the bush." So I'll just shoot a bow and arrow near it. And so I shoot, and all of a sudden the bush stands up, and it's like really tall and just sprints off into the woods. And I'm like, "What?" And so I go back and I couldn't sleep. And so next
Like
couple
what?
yeah. So I'm like, my brain's like, that was something. And so every once in a while, for the next couple months of us staying there, there would be like knocking on our front door, and there'd be like knocking on our windows, and then you would see something rush off into the woods anytime you come out, and you're like, something's out here. Eventually it stopped, but it was like so weird. And I'm like, somebody's out here.
Yeah, I'm not like geography. I'm not good at
Yeah.
it. I may be geographically challenged,
Yeah.
but the Appalachian Mountains, they run through your.
We're close. We're close to those.
I imagine some of the supernatural entities that
Yeah.
exist there or are supposed to exist there. They probably trickle into your neighborhood.
Oh yeah. So funny thing is, my grandparents are actually from like up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So they're like grew up
Right in
all
the
in
heart
it.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know what it is. A lot of the stories that they told us growing up are like, oh, that's like folklore stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have the superstition, your grandparents, of like not it's either I can't remember, leaving the broom out or keeping the broom inside at night? I can't remember which
They
one it
leave
is,
the
but you're
broom
supposed to do
outside.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to do one and then you're supposed to also like leave a bunch of sticks outside. Yeah.
We always close the curtains at night, and so that's like a huge thing in our family. We have to close the curtains no matter what, and so you don't go outside after dark. You close the curtains, and so all that. I
Yeah.
remember
Don't
when I
whistle in the woods.
yeah. So one big thing my grandmother had a problem with. She's like, "Why are you working at night? It's not you can't work at night, especially with all the woods there." And I'm like, "I promise I'll be fine, Grandma."
Scary stuff. I originally I'm from Lake Tahoe area.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm Cat's Pajamas or KPJ, but my real name is Caitlin Lake. So
Yeah.
growing up in Lake Tahoe with the last name Lake is just an unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah.
But we used to, up there, I used to hear the weirdest stuff at night. There's something so different about living in the mountains where it's just like you're away from civilization. You're kind of like, it's just you and whatever's outside. We
Mhm.
used to have like coyotes coming to our door and all that stuff. But then, like, in between those animal instances, there's something that happens where you're like, I don't know what that was. Like, I
Yeah.
can't identify what that was. And I don't want to.
Oh yeah, I definitely know that.
Yeah.
Working night shift, a lot of times you're just like, I'm supposed to be the one checking this out, but
Yep.
I'm sure it's
Yep. And you're like, nope. I'm gonna just not even. That didn't happen. I don't know what sound you're talking about. I don't know what that was.
the funny thing is when we were working campus security, there's the chapel. It had an organ in it, and it would play by itself. Anytime it was like storming really bad, the organ would start playing, and you're just like, cool,
Eerie.
just gonna
Oh,
let you keep doing that.
oh, that's so eerie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I live for this kind of stuff. I don't know what I would do if I experienced an organ playing itself in the dead of night during a storm. Like, probably cry. I think that's what I would do. I think I would cry. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then sometimes we would just like, hey, do you want to go ghost hunting with me? Yeah, we would do that and be like, well, we don't see anything today. Oh my gosh. So many weird things would happen though.
I bet. It sounds like it. Sounds like you have like a enough to write like a book. Like, here are all my ghost stories from college and beyond college.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But we should probably get back to talking about you. What got you into cosplay?
Oh, yes. Forgot. We're talking about me. Kind of on the same topic. I was always huge into Halloween. So, like, Halloween was always my holiday. As a little kid, like, I was never in the crafty family, so I was always the kid that would grab like the Halloween magazine and
Yeah.
come running out in August and be like, I want this costume, let's get it. And then my parents would have to like lock it up and keep it from me until October because it'd be just something I wanted to wear every single day. Was always a child that was really immersed in imagination and play, so I was like a T-Rex at school. I was a Velociraptor at school. You know, the thing that got me to stop truly was going into middle school where they didn't have the outdoor area necessary for me to be a
Yeah.
T-Rex and a Velociraptor, or I would have stayed that way probably into adulthood.
Yeah.
Little bit, there's a little disconnect in there somewhere. As I grew up, obviously, and became an adult, I kind of started to. I was also in the film industry for a number of years, and really wanted to break into that when I was
Mhm.
starting out. So that exposed me to a lot more of the imagination, the play, and became an outlet for me. But as I got older, I kind of stepped away from that and was like, it's time to regroup and refocus on something more adult and more concrete, something that's going to guarantee income. And so I started doing that. And then my boyfriend and I, we were both passionate about Halloween, and he's always been very crafty. He comes from a crafty family, so he'd always build my costumes from scratch,
Mhm.
and his own. And we just kind of had the idea one day. We're like, maybe it's time we try out going to conventions.
Yeah.
And I had just started watching The Boys at the time. I was anti superhero show for the longest time, and he was trying to get me to watch it. And I was like, I don't want to watch any more Men in Tights. I am so over Men in Tights. I'm like, if I have to watch another Marvel project or DC project or Star Wars project, I'm going to just run outside and scream. He's like, no, it's different. We gotta try it. So fell in love with The Boys and was like, for Halloween, I want to be Homelander. And that kind of launched me into this weird trajectory where now I am Homelander online.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got into cosplay. We decided to improve my costume from the Halloween, and we got the fabrics imported. He built it in 72 hours. My
Yeah.
cosplay that I wear, he constructed in 72 hours, and we took it to LA Comic Con, and it's been my life ever since.
Yeah. Okay. So, what has been the most difficult thing about cosplay?
Oh my gosh, the most difficult thing for me about cosplay is probably two different things. For one, it's coping with the turn off periods. So like
Yeah.
we go through periods, we call them con season, where we're going to like 8 or 9, 10 cons in the span of 3, 4 months. And it's go, 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 go. And then you hit the slow period where everybody's kind of off, there's nothing going on, and you're building up momentum for the next season. And so for me, knowing how to deal with that downtime and kind of come out of these characters and know how to prep something new
Mhm.
has been a challenge because once I'm on all the time. So that's been really hard for me. And then I think the second most challenging thing is really kind of like building this brand for myself. Right now, the one that everyone loves is me as Homelander. And so I've really kind of built this brand around me being this character that's just god awful. They're just a
Yeah.
terrible human being. I mean, they're not a human being. They're a terrible whatever they are,
Yeah.
and having to create a distance with the people that enjoy my work and be like, I am not this person in real life. I don't have these thoughts and I don't have these feelings about
Mhm.
society and the world at large. I'm like, I am not this person. So creating that dissonance, I think, is has been challenging, but it's
Yeah.
been rewarding. Yeah, so I'd say probably those two items, just knowing to turn off and then also to create that distance between me and the character.
Okay. What is? Gosh, I lost it. What advice do you have for styling wigs?
My gosh, yes. So, advice I have for styling wigs is the advice I needed from the jump, which is just start. I had analysis paralysis so bad when it came to styling wigs. And I was like, I don't know where to start. All these people I see online, they're like building wigs from scratch. Girl or guy or in between, you don't need that.
Mhm.
All you need is to get a nice wig on Amazon for like 30 bucks and then go to it with some shears and some thinning shears and got to be hairspray and call it a day. There's a lot of discrepancy online between like, oh, it needs to be, there's a bug. There's a lot of discrepancy between like if it needs to be a synthetic wig, what can I use? I don't want to damage it. It's like you won't know until you try. So just start. And then from there I would say anything that requires a lot of like volume, definitely get thinning shears, go through and hack that baby up. You don't have to be super intentional with it. Just make sure you don't hit the same spot more than a couple times like I did, or otherwise you'll have very short layers. And then just kind of go from there. But definitely just start. The most intimidating part of wig styling is waiting to start.
How much? I feel like I know an answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. How much hairspray does it require?
Gosh. So it depends on what you're using it for. So, like my
Mhm.
Homelander wig, I am very fortunate. It's a $20, $30 wig on Amazon that I just slap on and call a day. But the other ones that I've styled, it takes sometimes between like half a canister to like 2 canisters of hairspray, depending on what you're trying to lock in.
Mhm.
So I have this one wig I wore when I was the Countess from American Horror Story, and she has
Yeah.
this updo similar to what I have today with my real hair. But that took me like 2 canisters to really lock it in. So then that way you don't have to worry about restyling or it falling out of place. If you're going somewhere that's like outside and you're anticipating a lot of wind, like you really want to lock it in. So sometimes
Yeah.
that kind of pushes you on the more extreme side of the hairspray. But yeah, I'd say about half canister to 2, depending.
I know a good bit of the cosplayers that we have on to anime, and anime has like the crazy up hair, and I'll be watching them, and I'm like, there's no way that this is just one can of hairspray.
Yeah, a lot of the anime wigs, the secret to that is they go through and they take out the wefts and
Mhm.
they actually glue it. So it's hot glued over a foam
Yeah.
mold
Okay.
and held together with like glue and then the hairspray. That's how they get like the crazy spikes and all the big
Mhm.
stuff. And that just blew my mind for the
Yeah.
longest time because I thought it was all hair.
Yeah.
And then when I learned that, I was like, damn, you guys are kind of cheating.
Yeah, that's cool though.
It is. It takes an insane talent and an insane
Mhm.
amount of patience. And as much as I'd love to be that one day, I don't know if I can.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds cool though.
You.
What cosplay has the most meaning for you?
Yeah. So I've done a couple original characters. I think those carry a lot of meaning for me just because they are pieces of myself. They're I'm trying to navigate them off my main page a little bit just because they are so interpersonal and they're more of an artistic endeavor for me. But I would say they have a lot of meaning. I have one that I created. She's this beautiful red head with like a bone crown, and I kind of shot her decomposition, if you will, over the course of a couple days leading up to the Renaissance Fair. I
Mhm.
called her the Carrion Queen, and she's very complex. I'm still trying to flesh that one out, but she comes from a deep part of myself. I
Mhm.
saw her in a dream and felt inspired to become her for this Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
And then I have another character who I haven't named, but she was who I became for this ocean shoot I did.
Mhm.
She also came to me in a dream. I think she's more of a personification of my sleep paralysis and what I've witnessed through that. She's very distant and cold. She doesn't inspire a whole lot of warmth, which is really fun to bring to a beach shoot full of women in bikinis,
Mhm.
bring something different. So I would say those two mean a lot to me. They're very personal and close to my heart. And then, of course, Homelander. Without that cosplay, I wouldn't be doing what I am today. That
Yeah.
really launched my career, the start of my career, and I'm forever grateful. And it's a character that, despite all their flaws and all the darkness that comes with them and the heaviness and just the hilarious complexity that character has, they also kind of relate to me in a weird way. So I would say they've been really inspiring as well. I think that those three are probably my top 3 most meaningful cosplays.
Okay. What are some characters that you want to cosplay in the future?
Oh, I love this question. I love, love, love this question. I want to revisit the Countess from
Mhm.
American Horror Story. She did not get the love she deserved, and I think that's because I didn't give her the love she deserved. I tried to pull off this beautiful fuchsia dress she wears in one of the episodes. I can't remember. I think it's probably the second or third episode, but it's this beautiful fuchsia dress, and I tried to compensate with coming in like a dress that's about this color.
Mhm.
Did not hit. Everyone thought I was Game of Thrones or, House of the Dragon, and I'm like, no. Definitely would want to revisit her and give her more credit. And then another one I would love to cosplay is the Angel of Death from Hellboy.
Okay.
The second Hellboy. There's been a lot of really talented cosplayers that have successfully pulled it off, and I would love to challenge myself to try to stand among them as a
Mhm.
quality cosplay. But that one's like god tier. Like if I do that, I've completely fulfilled my full extent of my career. I'm gonna retire. It's over for me. I think the last one, no one would know who I am, but I would love, 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 love to go as Gary Oldman's character from Leon the Professional. And I have this vision of like doing a gender bend, walking down my hallway, and there's a scene where he takes the pill, and it's very unnerving because he does this weird tick with his neck and his jaw, and he looks up at the camera. It's just this beautiful shot that really kind of displaces you as a viewer. I don't want to recreate that in my hallway. So desperately. But I would say those are my three right now that I'm really like hardcore on want to achieve.
Okay. When it comes to like you were talking about characters that people may not recognize, have you ever had one of those at a con where you're like nobody's gonna know this character, but it's for me, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, I know that character."
Yeah, honestly, that happened with the Countess. I went to this really small con. We were just releasing her as kind of like an experimental character to see.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone there thought I was from House of Dragon, or they thought I was from, some other, Game of Thrones affiliate show. But there was one person, and they stick out in my mind to this day, that didn't quite get it, but the confidence that they instilled in me was everything. Because they're walking. Can I cuss? Is cursing okay? Okay. So they're walking to the door. I'm walking to the door, and they go, "Holy shit, it's Lady Gaga!" And I was like, almost. I was like, thank you.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's great.
I'm confident with what I'm attracted to in cosplay. I really, really love taking male characters and changing them into women, maintaining those toxic qualities, but just repackaging them as a woman. I feel like it adds this extra layer of complexity to those characters. I'm confident with that. I will encounter many, many more characters that people don't recognize or don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, so we're almost at the 2-year mark. I'm sure in my career I'll experience many more.
Okay, let's see. What characters have you cosplayed? Yeah, I'm so sorry. What character have you cosplayed that you relate to the most?
No, I really, really. This is such an incel boy question. Not question. Oh my god.
Response.
Rewind. Response. My response is an incel boy response.
Okay.
I vibe hardcore when I'm in Homelander. This is a character that I've really bridged the gap with and understand.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I relate because I'm able to displace myself to a point of being like, what is the viewpoint for him in the show? We see what it's like for everyone involved and how terrible he is, but truly, like through his eyes, what's it like? Yeah. And I'm this incredible being that no one understands. I feel incredibly isolated, and I know I'm better. And to walk around in that skin a little bit, I wouldn't say I relate with it, but it's definitely a perspective I've come to appreciate. Yeah. The other one I vibe with, hardcore, and I think most women do, which is another incel male response, is Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
With the multi-level skincare routine. I really pride myself on being like an in-character cosplayer, so when I'm Bateman that morning, it's an 8-12-step skincare routine. Yeah. I'm really like putting the energy in, getting in the headspace. I'm listening to 80s music on the way out there, and not like niche 80s music, like the crap that they shovel at you at that time. Really committing to that, and then when I'm there, I'm hip to be square. Yeah. And yeah, I would say I relate very heavily with him as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I can't read. What's a cosplay tip you wish you knew you started?
I think a cosplay tip that would have helped me a lot and might help other people that are watching this is that it does not have to be perfect. I am a perfectionist at my core. And as an anxious person as well at my core, I worry about things not coming along and being exactly what they need to be. And I think acknowledging that things don't need to be perfect would be really helpful for a starter cosplayer, especially because you come to a point to appreciate the imperfections where the artistry comes into play. And if you're going into it to be like screen accurate movie character, this is who you are, like that's a whole other art style. But for me, the imperfections are where I get to make them my own and really claim them as my own character in a way, my own interpretation. And it gives me a lot more artistic freedom. And I think that would be the case for other people as well. It's just kind of pumping the brakes on perfectionism and just going with what feels right.
In your opinion, what is the coolest prop you've had for a cosplay?
Okay. The coolest prop I've had for a cosplay is a even split between my ghoul gun that I have.
Mhm.
It's the pistol. It's completely custom 3D design, and it's painted by my loving partner and boyfriend. He does all my prop design and most of my cosplay builds. I'm
Mhm.
literally just the personality behind it. He's phenomenal. This thing can come out. It's functional, so I can rotate the piece with the bullets in it. The bullets
Yeah.
are removable and all designed from the show. I can snap it into piece and aim it. It looks like a solid prop. It is incredible. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites. I love pulling it out for photos too because it's so seamless, and I can
Yeah.
crack it open, like take the bullets out. It's easily my ghoul gun. My ghoul pistol. It's so perfect.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
What has been one of your best con experiences?
Ooh, that's a hard question for me to answer because it's an even split between WonderCon and Pasadena Comic Con this year. Because I'm a little narcissistic, I will say Pasadena Comic Con was the best con experience I've ever had.
Mhm.
Talk about being treated like a celebrity and waited on hand over fist. Everyone was like, oh my god, it's Homelander. And I was like, yes, I am. Yes, I am Homelander. And I was mobbed with people who are fans of my work. I was asked for a bunch of photos, which is like my favorite thing to do. I got to collaborate with like merchandise. I have this new apron now with his face on it that I got to wear for the rest
Yeah.
of the con. I got stopped by people that were writing stories for Pasadena Comic Con. It was awesome. It was like, what's it like to be a celebrity for a day?
Mhm.
Unexpected. I went
Yeah.
in expecting it to be like a normal con experience, and it turned into the cat's pajamas hour for the whole day. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. What has been one of the coolest cosplays you've seen at a convention?
I didn't get to see it. Well, no, I take that back. I did get to see it. They had a Galactus
Mhm.
cosplayer, and I can't remember the studio that makes it, but they're known for making these larger than life cosplays. This thing was like 10, 12 feet tall with a
I think
dude
I know what you're
inside.
talking about. It's like the
Yeah,
giant. It has
yeah,
beautiful coloring on it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
saw it with my own eyes, and I was
Okay.
like, oh my god, it was so insane. I was like, I kind of want you to pick me up. I kind of want you to hold me like a baby. But we had to like keep walking right by it, so I didn't get a photo with him or anything. But he talked about being like surrounded by just masses. Like it was such an awe-inspiring cosplay. And
Mhm.
then one of my friends who's a cosplayer as well, he cosplays Wolverine, and he's a little guy.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. He got a photo with him, and he's like ankle height. This dude was massive. Like the photos don't do it justice. I was like crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. What has been one of the coolest things you have picked up from a convention?
Ooh, the coolest things I picked up for one of the coolest things I picked up from a convention. I at San Diego Comic Con. It was such a like oscillating good and bad experience.
Mhm.
I'm excited to go again next year and kind of pave the road on that. But it was really weird because it was bad and it was good. But we got to go to the Sony booth because Sony, in some capacity, has a handshake agreement with Amazon Prime. So they were
Mhm.
sponsoring my show, The Boys, and then they also, in some capacity, work with Peacock. And so Twisted Metal was there as well. And they had like this booth that was like a diner, and you got to go and kind of like do this claw machine, and they saw my boyfriend cosplay Sweet Tooth and I'm Homelander, so they were like, oh my gosh, you guys have to come over here and you have to like hang out at the booth and do all these things. And we shot a bunch of like promotion work for them, and then they gave us the ability to do the claw machine a couple extra times. So we were
Yeah.
going over there, and we lost obviously because we suck at claw machines. And then at the end they were like, oh, thank you for coming. They gave us this little bag, and I freaked out because inside there was a pin that I wanted so desperately, and it
Yeah.
says "fuck soups."
Yeah.
And they gave it to me, and I was like, "That was the best thing I've ever gotten."
Yeah. I know, oh my gosh, Drew Ryder, she's a voice actor and she does cosplay as well. She'll go every con she goes to, she collects another pin.
Yeah,
Do you do that as well?
yeah, you kind of have to. Pins and stickers are like the go-to. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's some of the coolest pins you've gotten?
I have a Dark Kermit pin
Yeah.
that I love. I have that one. I have the fuck soups. I have one of Jeff Goldblum that's like life finds a way. What other ones? I have a brain because I work in mental health, so I have a brain. That one's pretty
Hmm.
sick. I know I have other ones. I have like a really buff cat. It's like
Yeah.
like really ripped, and it's got like the muscles and like little nipples. It's hilarious. I love that one.
That's great.
It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like, it's pretty great.
Okay. Well, I've got one last question for you. Where can the people at home find you and your cosplays?
Ooh, they can find me at catspajamas.cosplay on Instagram, or if they're more into the artistic side of what I'm doing, not saying cosplay isn't artistic, but kind of moving away from like the superhero stuff, I'm also at kpj.photo.
Hold on, I'm writing that down so that I can make sure it's in the description. Okay.
No worries.
Alrighty. And
Awesome.
if that's it, do you have any last words before we end it?
No. Yeah, this was a great experience. I've been consuming, I told Devin
Mhm.
earlier today, I was like, I don't want to take too much time away from, his life, but I was
Yeah.
like, I've been watching a lot of your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing podcast. I'm so excited for this to like really take off for you guys.
Hmm.
And to be a part of it is so awesome and incredible. Thank you for having me. Thank you both for having me. I hope to come back and do another one. I think that'd be cool.
We could do
I'll be a
that.
little,
Definitely one with Devin where he's not away.
yeah, for sure. No, and I'll be a little less, I think, nervous. I was
Yeah.
nervous to meet you guys. You guys are so cool. And I'm like, what do you want to do with me? But yeah, so
Okay.
maybe one where my palms are a little less sweaty, less vomit on my sweater already, mom spaghetti, like
Oh yeah.
pull it together.
Yeah, we could definitely can do this again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, say less. I'm there.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Well, thank you for coming on.